Very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Samir, and to the Scotch group for putting this together. My name is Nehaa Chaudhari. I'm a lawyer. I head public policy for a law firm, Ikigai Law. And what I will do for the next few minutes is give you a headline view on some of the questions identified for this panel that you should also see in the agenda if you have a copy. And I'll build on what you were saying, Rahul. I do think that one of the challenges that we are going to see as regards the data protection law is how we're going to operationalize this and implement it across different sectors. I do think that any data protection law, including the draft bill in front of you, is a vast improvement over the current data protection framework that we have in this country. So I do think that this is a very, very necessary and extremely welcome positive step in the right direction. And it takes forward the Supreme Court's decision which came out a year ago, which guarantees to all of us in this room a fundamental right to privacy, where that fundamental right to privacy also includes the right to autonomy over your information. So I do think that the bill is a good step in that direction. The challenge, one of the challenges will be operationalizing this across different sectors, and I do think that various sectoral regulators, including the RBI, including the TRAI, the telecom regulator, and others will play a very important role in shaping regulations for their different sectors. We have seen some of these regulators already come out with their regulations. Earlier this year, you had the Reserve Bank of India mandate data localization of payment systems information in the country. You've had the TRAI come out with its own set of privacy recommendations, even before the Srikrishna Committee that was tasked with framing this data protection law had come out with its final report and the bill. And if you look at these in some detail, you will see that there is some inconsistency with what the regulators are saying and what is there in the data protection bill. So it's going to be interesting that now that you have a data protection law that gives you a broad overarching framework, how different sectoral regulators are going to implement this, because these will be bare minimum standards, and I don't think that there is anything that's stopping the regulators from taking these bare minimum standards and implementing these and applying them in different contexts across their different regulators. So that's, I think, one broad point that I would like to make. The second is, again, on the issue of regulators. Another interesting issue we're going to see is possible jurisdictional overlaps and how we're going to have to reconcile the different powers and functions of each of these different authorities on data protection. So who has sort of the final say? The draft bill creates a data protection authority and tasks it with a whole host of different functions, including some sort of judicial functions. It is the final arbiter of sorts on whether or not a breach of the data protection law has taken place. And there is a section in the law that says that the regulator must work together with other sectoral regulators, and it does mandate some kind of consultation. But how this is going to play out in practice is sort of pretty much anyone's guess. So I think with those two broad points on sectoral regulation and the interplay between different regulators, I'll stop with